On the news hour tonight, terrorists invade Niger community in broad daylight, kill vigilante, kidnap 12 farmers. NLC to hold two-day nationwide protest over economic hardship. Federal government seals off popular Sahad stores for hoarding and high price. And finally, on the international scene, Senegal's Sall promises to hold delayed presidential votes as soon as possible. Good evening and many thanks for joining us on the News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. We begin tonight's bulletin with issues around security, where a member of a local vigilante, simply identified as Ubale, has been reportedly killed while 12 other farmers were kidnapped in broad daylight in Alawa, Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The terrorists, numbered about 45, reportedly launched the attack around 11:30 a.m. on Friday. Local sources said the Friday attack came less than 2 weeks after 36 women were kidnapped at Maganda Junction, where terrorists also burnt down a truck loaded with foodstuff belonging to the villagers. Locals said 2 weeks after the abduction of the 36 women, terrorists were yet to establish contact for negotiation. The chairman at Lawa Youth Connect, Yusuf Musa, said the attackers rode on motorcycles to attack farmers on Friday. Musa said after Jumat prayers, those who went to evacuate the corpse of the vigilante killed around 11:30 a.m. were also ambushed, adding that although no one was killed, the remains of the vigilante are yet to be evacuated. The Niger State Police Command is yet to confirm the incident at the time of filing the report. We now have joining us Trust TV reporter in Niger State, Abubakar Akote, joining us to give updates on the situation. Abubakar, welcome to the News Hour and hope you're having a good evening. Meanwhile, can you give us an update on the situation? Has there been any word from the security agencies or from the government? And has the body of the vigilante that was unfortunately killed been evacuated and, dare I say, put to rest?
Currently, the authorities have not spoken. And the distress call I just called now, got from the community now, is that the community is right now under attack. Bandits, terrorists have launched attack this evening, and currently they are still operating. Many people are leaving the community, are fleeing now, as I just spoke with some of the residents now, who confirmed to me that right now their community is under attack. And the Alawa community is one of the major, major towns. Sure, local government here, it has one of the major markets in the local government, and it is the community town that bandits attack was first launched in Shiro almost 8 years ago. And all this while security operatives, especially military, have been positioned in the town to protect other adjoining communities. But this today, the residents say they are not finding it easy, because the attack in the morning was just like, according to them, was like 1 kilometer away from the town. But this now, right now, they just confirmed to me that the terrorists have entered the town now, and they are operating. So
they're currently operating as at this moment. Quite this moment in Alawa. Quite an unfortunate situation, Akote, because I was going to ask you about the situation currently at Alawa town, especially because you spoke with some of the residents. However, do you have any other information as regards to the situation as it is?
No, I asked those who gave me the stress call if the soldiers in the community have engaged them, and they confirmed that they were currently being engaged by soldiers. But for now, they cannot give details of what happened, because everybody is running for his life and then leaving soldiers with them.
Quite an unfortunate situation. Abubakar, it's currently past 9 p.m. and this attack happened around, say, 11:30 a.m. in the morning. And before now, yes, there were attacks earlier in the community. 36 women were kidnapped, and food items, reportedly belonging to the community was carted away and even burnt down. Did you hear any other thing? Unfortunately, it's going on right now, and I really hope that the security agencies do the best to control the situation. But when you spoke with this resident, how was their feeling, their psychology, regarding the situation currently as they are facing, and what is their feeling, and what do they have to say, about I really don't want to call it refusal, but then the government and security agencies have yet to respond, and unfortunately, they are currently being attacked at the moment. Perhaps you got some information from them before now.
Yes, as I earlier said, I've been in touch even with the chairman, Alawa Youth Connect, and he confirmed to me that their major challenge which they would like federal government to come is that Alawa forest. He believes that terrorists have a permanent camp in that forest. There's a junction they call Maganda Junction, which connects Alawa and Pondogari. It's almost close to Brinugwari border with Niger State. He told me that junction is almost every day that those people operate at that junction. It has been a very dangerous junction, which extends to that Alawa forest. So he said the terrorists, once they come out from the Alawa forest, their first point of operation is that junction before they extend to communities. And that junction, that forest, is not far from Alawa community, which is what I have said, one of the major towns in Shiro local government. So their fear, the feelings has always been that the hunger, they have several times called on federal government to do something with that forest. I recall that that forest, one of the forests that former administration of President Buhari listed to also develop as measures to curtail terrorism and banditry attacks on communities. But up to this moment, nothing has been done about the forest, and the criminals are still using it as a hideout.
Akuje, thank you so much for the update. We do hope that the security agents on ground currently overpower the non-state actors and, of course, bring lasting peace to not only our community, but also other communities that have been plagued with this incessant attacks by bandits. Have a good evening, and please stay safe.
Yeah,
Still on matters of security, 3 worshippers have been killed and several others abducted after some suspected bandits in their numbers invaded a mosque in Kankara local government area of Katsina State. Residents said that the bandits raided the mosque on Thursday at about 8 p.m. According to a resident who spoke under the condition of anonymity, 4 other worshippers were equally wounded as a result of the attack, which lasted for hours. Upon their arrival on motorcycles, the hoodlums were said to have opened fire on the faithful while deeply performing the last prayer of the day. Security agencies and government officials in the state are yet to confirm the incident. Right now, I understand we're being joined by Abdullahi Yamadi, who is our reporter joining us from Katsina State to give updates on the situation. Yamadi, good evening and welcome to the News Hour. If you can hear me, has there been any update with regards to the attacks earlier today, and has the authorities responded to what happened?
Well, before going to that, it is important to know that the attack happened at Ergoji village in Kankara local government area of Katsina State, which is on Kankara Molumfashi Road. And this community has recorded several bandit attacks over the last 1 decade. Well, there are 3 versions of the story. Well, some people are saying the attack was a retaliation of some attacks on some communities perceived as Fulani communities or settlements by vigilante group of the area recently, where several people were extrajudiciously killed. While another version is also suspecting the usual bandit attacks. However, the third version is suspecting that the attackers have a religious motive, saying that this is the same way Boko Haram and other militia groups in the northeast operate. In any case, residents are calling on security operatives to also change their mode of operation. Of course, you can understand by the manner in which this operation was carried out, because the usual mode of operation of bandits, especially in Katsina and other northwestern states, is that when they attack, they kill, they kidnap for ransom and wrestle animals. But in this case, they only attacked and killed worshippers without any reported abduction or wrestling of animals. Some public affairs commentators said they are suspecting a very serious collaboration between bandits operating in Katsina and militia groups in the northeastern states, citing example with the recent killings of some police officers at Sakijiki in Batari and Gurbe Magaria in Jibe local government areas. Gunmen dressed in women attires and launched attack on these people. So you can understand that there is a serious apprehension and fear among residents of Katsina State. And another thing is that Katsina residents are concerned about the recent happenings. Like I said, the mode of operation of the bandits, which they are calling on relevant organizations to investigate before it escalates to another thing. Because, like I told you, people are suspecting that these attackers have a religious motive. So this is exactly what is happening, and all efforts made to reach out to the Commissioner of Internal Security, Anam Matthias Alhaji Nasiru Ma'azuda Musa, and the spokesman of Katsina State Police Command proved unsuccessful. Because this afternoon I called on the spokesman of Katsina State Police Command, and he promised to call me back, but up to this moment I did not hear anything from him.
But what about residents of the communities, Yamadi? What are they saying, especially the youth who I know at times like this often get offended and, become irate, especially because of the killings that some would say is now one too many, as well as the abductions. Were you able to speak with some residents of Kankara as at this point, and what is their feelings regarding the situation, which, as it is, seems to be dire?
Not only Kankara, I spoke with the residents of the community, that is Ergojo community, even few minutes before the news hour commenced. What they are saying is that they are very disappointed by the way and manner security operatives are taking this issue of insecurity. Because over the 2 hours the bandits operated in the community, there was no response from any security organization or security agency. They were only left at the mercy of the hoodlums, and of course, if not for the efforts of the vigilante group in the community, only God knows what will happen. So they are calling on the security operatives to be proactive rather than being reactive. And of course, they said they are living in a very serious apprehension for the fear of the unknown, because these bandits can attack anytime and at any hour.
Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust TV reporter in Katsina, thank you so much for the update. We'll definitely rendezvous with you again as events develop. Do have a good evening and stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Sergio.
Moving on, a wanted suspected kidnapper in the Federal Capital Territory, Dahiru Adamu, has been arrested. The development comes barely 3 days after the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, placed a 20 million naira bounty on him and one Abu Ibrahim. The two terrorists are said to be causing mayhem in the nation's capital, kidnapping and killing unsuspecting citizens. The FCT Police Public Relations Officer, SP Josephine Ade, confirmed the arrest on Friday. The PPRO said the suspect was arrested when operatives of the command raided two kidnappers' camps bordering Nasarawa and the FCT via Kuje Area Council on Thursday. The suspected kidnapper was said to be the leader of the kidnapping syndicate, paraded by the police command on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Taraba State Police Command recently recognized and rewarded 4 officers for their exemplary integrity in refusing a bribe of over 8 million naira from suspected kidnappers. During the ceremony held in the office of the Commissioner of Police, David Anomon, the officers were presented with awards for their outstanding act of integrity. The officers stationed at the checkpoint on the 29th of last month intercepted a Toyota Starlet carrying 3 passengers. Acting on their instinct, they conducted a thorough search leading to the discovery of 8.55 million naira in the vehicle. Despite a substantial bribe offer from the suspects, the officers remained steadfast in their commitment to upholding the law and rejected the illicit offer. The honored officers include Inspector Difference T, Inspector Gamarju Gambo, Inspector Usman Haruna, and Corporal Zaradin Mahmuda.
A Toyota Starlet with 3 occupants. So, on suspicious, we discovered that that particular vehicle is carrying a huge amount of money. So, when questioning, they could not be able to give us satisfactory account of that money. So, based on as a trained personnel, and even before we move out on special duty that very same day, we were briefed by our unit commander, that is ASP Hamza Berde, never to give room to any corrupt practice or whatsoever relevant to it.
The suspect offered the whole amount of money, that is the whole 8,555,000 naira, to the police officers as bribe for his freedom, but was rejected by the good ambassadors of the Nigerian police force. Meanwhile, the suspect has been cooperating with the police in an ongoing investigation of past kidnappings he and others had carried out.
And on the state of the nation, the Nigerian Labour Congress has announced plans for a 2-day nationwide protest to address the prevailing economic challenges and deteriorating security situation across the country. NLC President Joe Ajero made this disclosure during a press briefing in Abuja on Friday, following an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council of the Union. Ajero stated that the protest will commence 1 week after the expiration of the 14-day ultimatum issued to the federal government, which is set to lapse on February the 23rd. Expressing concern over the widespread hardship faced by millions of Nigerians, the organized labor cited issues such as hunger, erosion of purchasing power, and insecurity, largely attributed to reforms that have led to a surge in inflation.
That the notice expires on the midnight of Thursday, the 22nd day of February 2024. That if on the expiration Congress is not satisfied with government's compliance with the conditions of the notice, Congress will be at liberty to take action that will compel government to implement the agreement. The next session declares a 2-day national protest on 27th and 28th of February to demonstrate outrage on the mounting hardship and insecurity around the nation. If our demands are not met after the nationwide protest, to issue a 7-day notice that will expire on the 2nd day of March 2024 to the federal government, after which an indefinite nationwide strike will ensure. That Nigerian workers and people are not interested in the empty talk now, but action. So we call on all our affiliates, state councils, and civil society allies to start mobilizing across the nation for effective action as the February 22 approaches.
NLC President there, Joe Ajero, on the upcoming industrial action. Moving forward, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has sealed Saad Store, a popular supermarket in the Garki area of Abuja. The management of the supermarket was accused of shortchanging customers by charging prices other than the price tag on the shelves. The development came 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu unveiled plans to tackle factors responsible for the food crisis. Enforcement was led by FCCPC Acting Executive Vice Chairman Adamu Abdullahi. Abdullahi told journalists on the sidelines of the event that the Commission's preliminary investigation confirmed that the management of the supermarket was shortchanging the customers.
Section 155 states that any corporate person that contravenes this is liable to a fine of 100 million naira or even more. And the directors of the company themselves are liable, upon conviction, payment of 10 million naira each or imprisonment of 6 months or more, both. So therefore, we found out that they were contravening this law and made sure that we came to show them that our mandate is very clear, but to promote and protect consumers' interests.
Still on the cost of living, Nigerians are voicing accusations against traders for colluding with senior public servants in the widespread purchase of food commodities for hoarding purposes. In Gombe, a cross-section of residents attribute this trend as the primary cause of the recent inflation in food commodities. Concerned residents are urging the government to implement measures to curb this trend. Here's Hassan Kuli with the details.
The surge in inflation affecting essential food commodities across the nation has raised significant concern. Gombe residents have pointed fingers at marketers, alleging their role in artificially inflating prices. Additionally, some residents argue that since these commodities are locally cultivated, there is no justification for the observed food price inflation. We are the ones who cultivate all essential food commodities. Therefore, it is obvious that recent food inflation is artificially created. Businessmen, together with some senior public servants, are holding the commodities intentionally, and unfortunately, the government is not taking this issue seriously, I guess. Traders like Yusha Umeshago acknowledge the role of food commodity marketers in the recent inflationary trends, albeit with some reservations. Yes, some of the businessmen and elites are holding food commodities, but panic buying and higher demands for the product are another factor fueling the recent inflation. While the public and businessmen are expressing mixed views on the factors responsible for the development, some Nigerians are suggesting a holistic approach to confronting the trend. In my opinion, no measures can work effectively other than the reintroduction of fuel subsidy removal. The government must reverse the fuel subsidy removal to deal with the recent inflation. Nigeria has been grappling with the economic downturn, which has been aggravated by the removal of fuel subsidy in May last year. The Tinubu administration has made a pronouncement of a state of emergency of food security, which has done a little to address the challenges headlock. It remains to be seen whether the release of 42,000 metric tons of grain to poor Nigerians for free will crash the price of food items in the market. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And in Borno State, the governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has assured that his administration will alleviate the sufferings and hardships experienced across the state caused by the high cost of food items. In a televised broadcast in Maiduguri, the governor said his government is taking decisive actions to invest in agriculture, ensure food production, and support local farmers with incentives that will create a sustainable livelihood for every citizen. The governor also assured of continuous improvement in education, healthcare, and increased distribution of palliatives to the communities.
In addition to our efforts in agriculture, we are also working on increasing the distribution of palliatives, especially for residents in MMC and Jere. As your governor, I want to assure you that we will continue to improve healthcare service delivery, education, and water supply. We'll continue investing in infrastructure, job creation, and promoting entrepreneurship to empower our citizens and build a more resilient economy in line with our 10-fact agenda. I implore His Eminence the Shehu of Borno, the Chief Imam of Borno, the leadership of Christian brothers, and the general public to observe a one-day voluntary fast on Monday, the 19th February 2024. I urge us to pray for peace, prosperity, and development of our state and the country at large.
You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, Jos residents react to presidential order aimed at engendering patriotism. Many more stories as well after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying, and if you're just joining, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now recap of our major stories again. Terrorists invade Niger community in broad daylight, killed vigilante and kidnapped 12 farmers. NLC hold two-day nationwide protest over economic hardship. And to more stories, the Nasarawa State Command of the Nigerian Police has made significant strides in combating crime by apprehending 57 suspects involved in various criminal activities, notably including the abduction and sale of children to willing buyers. According to correspondent Abubakar Abdullah's report, the command's effort have led to the recovery of 6 out of the 45 abducted children dispersed across different locations within the country. His report is presented from our studio.
During the parade of the suspects, Nasarawa State Police Commissioner Umar Nadada disclosed that 10 out of the 57 suspects had been involved in the theft and sale of 45 children to various buyers across the country. Commissioner Nadada further elaborated that to date, the police have successfully recovered 6 of the abducted victims, with ongoing effort focused on locating and rescuing the remaining 39 children. He highlighted the pivotal role played by the arrest of one suspect, Ismaila Adamu, who attempted to abduct a 5-year-old child in Kefi. This arrest subsequently led to the apprehension of other suspects and the successful recovery of the 6 victims.
Analysis conducted on their phones revealed that 45 children stolen have been sold to illegally adopted unsuspecting members of the public across the country.
The Commissioner of Police reiterated that the parents of 2 victims have already come forward and positively identified their children. He urged parents whose children are missing to contact the command for potential identification of their loved ones. Furthermore, the police command made a significant arrest of 2 individuals found in possession of 450,000 United States dollars.
Detectives attached to Masaga Division raided a hideout of suspected criminals located at Angom Police, Masaga, and got 2 suspects arrested, namely Muhammad Abubakar, aka Dalivia.
Abdul Karim Abubakar, a social welfare worker with Lapai local government area of Niger State, confessed to being part of a syndicate involved in the theft and sale of children. Shockingly, Abubakar admitted to selling a child for a staggering sum of 1.4 million naira.
I adopted children from a private orphanage home to a parent that doesn't have children. Yes.
Okay, you adopted whose children you adopted? Whose children?
I went to a private orphanage home to adopt, to collect.
Among the suspects apprehended by the command are kidnappers, fraudsters, car and motorcycle snatchers. Additionally, a significant amount of firearms, ammunition, vehicles, charms, and POS machines were recovered from the suspects. The command has informed journalists that investigations are currently underway, and once completed, the suspect will be charged to court to face the full wrath of the law.
As we're talking law, Justice Simon Amubeta of the Federal High Court in Kano has dismissed the suit brought by the Nigerian Association of Patent Proprietary Medicine Dealers contesting their relocation to a coordinated wholesale market at Dangauru Economic City, situated on the outskirts of Kano. In delivering his judgment on a case that has been ongoing since last year, Justice Amobeda concluded that the suit lacked merit, asserting that the plaintiffs lacked the legal standing to challenge the relocation order issued by the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria. This council, empowered by the PCN Act, holds the authority to regulate their business operations. Here's the report.
Members of the Nigerian Association of Patent Proprietary Medicine Dealers had approached the court asking it to stop their forceful relocation from their registered business premises at Abubakar Rimi Market to the coordinated wholesale market located at Dangwaro. The association contended that the action of the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria, security operatives within the state, and the Attorney General of Kano State amounts to violation of their fundamental rights to freedom of association. According to the presiding judge, Justice Simon Amobeda, there is no correlation between the constitutional right and the regulation to control influx of drugs into the state.
The court held that the association lacks the local standard to sue the defendant. Then secondly, the court went on to say that since it lacks local standard, then the court will lack jurisdiction to entertain this matter. Then the court in its magnanimity said for the Court of Appeal to have something to say in case the plaintiffs decide to appeal. It will delve into the substantive matter and determine the claims in all fairness of the plaintiffs. The court, after determining the claims of the plaintiffs, which is majorly seeking the same relief, seeking to stop the Pharmacy Council and other defendants from relocating them from their shops in Abubakar Rimi Market, Malankato Square and Niger Street to these coordinated wholesale centers in Angoro Market along Zaria Road.
Well, we will study the judgment and advise our clients appropriately.
Are you going on appeal?
Well, we will advise them. We will study the judgment first before we decide our next line of action. Yeah.
So by this landmark judgment that we have today, the coordinated wholesale center in Kano will contribute in no way, in no small measure, in the mitigation of substandard and falsified medicine. We want to thank His Lordship for this landmark judgment, and also the DG wants to assure Nigerians that this is just the beginning of good things to come in the issue of fight against substandard and falsified medicine.
The judgment has laid to rest the lingering controversy over the relocation of the medicine dealers to Dangwaro.
And President Bola Tinubu has given the green light for the immediate upgrade of 16 key health infrastructure and equipment nationwide, spanning all 6 geopolitical zones in the country. This move, as stated by the President's media aide during Galale, aligns with the administration's vision of revitalizing the health and social welfare sector to ensure improved service delivery for all Nigerians. 6 teaching hospitals across the 6 geopolitical zones have been earmarked for the establishment of oncology and nuclear medicine centers per facility. These hospitals include the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, University of Nigeria Nsukka Teaching Hospital, Federal Teaching Hospital Katsina, University of Jos Teaching Hospital, and Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Ngelale emphasized that these essential projects to be completed within 12 to 18 months will enhance screening and diagnostics for both communicable and non-communicable diseases, reduce mortality rates and improve outcomes for non-communicable diseases. Additionally, they will generate significant employment opportunities for clinical, administrative and managerial personnel across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones while bolstering the capacity of clinical personnel in advanced procedures, diagnostics and treatment modalities. Elsewhere, residents of Ogba Aguda area in Lagos State are appealing to Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu for urgent intervention in completing a road construction project initiated on January 31st, 2024. The deteriorating condition of the road is causing significant hardship to citizens and local businesses. Here's the report.
Ogba Road in the Lagos metropolis that began deteriorating in 2023 has become a symbol of hardship for residents. September last year, the state government demolished shops in the area with plans to commence construction from the opposite end. 5 months down the line, not much has been achieved with regards to the reconstruction efforts of these roads. However, The presence of equipment and sand brought by the state government has rendered the road impossible. Pedestrians are now struggling to navigate the road, with many finding it difficult to walk without risking injury. Adjacent to these hazardous stretch lies the area G police station, highlighting the severity of the situation. Speaking to Trust Television, residents and shop owners in the area expressed their anguish over the road's deplorable state. They lamented the condition of the road has deterred customers and exacerbating economic hardships.
Because most of these shops here is passers-by, both the people with the legs and on the cars passing are their customers. But since they cut off this road, you can see there is no vehicle. There is no vehicle, so it affects them really.
Dig the gutter, cement the floor, put back the beams on the ground, cover it. I wonder a week is enough, but they're now prolonging it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for 1 month, and all of that. It's causing a lot of damages.
The recent demarcation of the road has resulted in the closure of the alternative route adjacent to the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. This closure has disrupted the usual flow of traffic, preventing vehicles from traveling directly from Agege and Ikeja to Bega. As a result, motorists are compelled to navigate through longer routes, impacting commuters traveling between Bega and Aguda as well. Transport operators have also voiced their concerns regarding the impact of the road's deteriorating condition on their businesses.
We used to cross from here to the other side, to carry passengers, we load there, we come back. And now, we just stay here. We can't cross to the other side. And once we go to the other road, to go and enter and park passengers, they used to arrest us there.
Almost a week now, they have no way to control the road again. They have built the road alone. This road will pass more than 3 years before they will do it, because they want to use this place as their own money. They are not working for the people of this Nigerian as a citizen. They are working for inside their own pockets.
Residents of Lagos are optimistic that the completion of the road reconstruction will not only save time and energy, but also stimulate business growth.
Well, there you have it. And still in the news, mixed reactions have continued to trail the directive by President Bola Tinubu on the mandatory recitation of the national pledge after the national anthem at every official and public engagement. The president had on February 9th said the directive is to ensure absolute respect for the national symbols, strengthen allegiance and fidelity to country, and preserve Nigeria's ethos and defining character. Ado Musa takes a look at how residents in Jos are reacting to the directive.
The National Pledge is an oath of allegiance to a nation. It is recited in schools during assemblies, Independence Day, and at official government functions. This is originally done to show and sustain patriotism among citizenry. President Tinubu, while calling for the recitation of the National Pledge, emphasized the imperative of respecting national values, promoting the nation's ideals, and abiding by its established norms. Jos residents have been reacting to the president's directive.
The way I've been respecting national pledge in every event I find myself, I always like to start with the national pledge, be it a public gathering, be it a government gathering, be it a private gathering, because I know the importance of the national pledge, and I encourage other Nigerians to take national pledges as serious as anything in every gathering you find yourself.
National pledge is something that is our identity as a Nigerian, and I so much believe in the national pledge because it entails our faithfulness and our commitment to the constitution of this country. But one thing that I will say about the national pledge, that people are looking at it as, even me as a person, you know, when you want to pledge to be loyal to your country or to abide with all the terms and constitution of this country, and you found out that the government or the country itself or the government in power are not doing what is expected of them as a government, then it touches the heart of people not to even obey some of these pledge that they have put in mind to do. So I want to say this, that even as the president of Nigeria has made it as a national duty for us to be doing that, the government on its part has to encourage by providing what is expected of them for the citizens.
Okay, looking at when you interpret the meaning in the national pledge, it's something worthy that the citizens should observe. It will make you to have the conscience of the nation, and it's a promise as a citizen when you say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest. So these words will make somebody to be conscious of whatsoever he or she is doing, especially when it comes to working or taking care of the national and resources. Yeah, it will help somebody to deliver the good.
John Azi is the State Deputy Director of National Orientation Agency. He explains the importance of the National Pledge to Nigeria and what the agency is doing to reawaken respect for the country's national symbols.
It's an allegiance to the nation state, Nigeria. When you say the National Pledge, it's like an oath of allegiance to the nation state. Now, why is it important that we talk to Nigerians or we sensitize Nigerians to always observe these national symbols, especially the anthem and the pledge, so that Nigerians continuously will be patriotic to the nation state.
Despite complaints by Nigerians about the poor leadership in the country, many people still believe that if the words in the pledge are reflected in our actions, the country will eventually get better. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And moving on, the president of the Lutheran World Federation, Archbishop Musa Kpanti Philibus, has emphasized the urgency for proactive citizenry amidst Nigeria's current economic crisis, insecurity and escalating cost of living. Speaking at an entrepreneurship training for youth and women in Adamawa State, Archbishop Kpanti stressed the necessity for citizens to actively engage in initiatives to combat unemployment, highlighting the limitations of government efforts in addressing the growing job market. Archbishop Kpanti underscored the role of the church in providing avenues for skill development and economic empowerment. You're still watching the news hour on Trust TV. Let's now join Yusuf Akogu, who is now standing by with business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The European Union, EU, say it is set to invest 37 million euros into the Nigerian power sector. The EU head of mission to Nigeria, Ambassador Samuela Isopi, said this when she visited the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, on Friday in Abuja. Speaking on the EU various interventions programs in the power sector, the envoy said that the current support will cover small hydropower and solar for healthcare facilities. Other areas to be covered in the current interventions are rural electrification with isolated and interconnected mini-grid projects and circular economy. Responding, the Minister of Power expressed appreciation to the EU for the support it has given to the sector. Adelabu said that more support is needed to address the enormous challenges in the Nigerian power industry. Many Nigerian importers are feeling Nigerian seaport as distortions in the clearing process, occasioned by daily upward review of customs exchange rates by the Central Bank of Nigeria, has reached unbearable levels. Their decisions follow Thursday's tariff hike from $1,481 per dollar to $1,515 per US dollar. The review represents 2.2%. According to them, neighboring ports of Lomé, Cotonou, and Ghana are highly business-friendly with reasonable tariffs. A clearing agent, Soporuchi Ago, while lamenting problems accompanying the frequent tariff hike, say it is better to relocate to Cotonou or other places. Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited say it is working to deepen investment in deep water, gas and renewables in Nigeria, where it has pioneered oil and gas production for more than 60 years. Managing Director of Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, Eloho Aiboni, stated this at a panel discussion at the ongoing 8th Sub-Saharan African International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference in Lagos. Aiboni added that the company is equally working to extend the life of the Bonga floating, production, storage and offloading vessels for another 15 years to handle more production from Nigeria's first deep water development, which came on stream in November 2015. Bonga produced 1 billion barrels of oil last year and is projected to do more in 2024. Food prices have been on the rise across Nigeria, even though government say that despite challenges, Nigeria maintains a competitive edge in food affordability compared to its neighboring countries. Looking at the price of food today, a basket of tomato in Lagos is still going for 49,000 naira per a big basket there. Pepper at Morona Market in Sokoto is being sold for 19,500. Palm oil at Ugbeti Market in Enugu State is still being sold for 26,000. Groundnut oil, 25 liters here at Utako Market, 43,500. Honey, 50 kg at Ogbe-Ogonogo Market in Asaba, Delta State, is going for 30,000. And for sugar at Dankaba Market in Kano State, is going for 60,000. Of course, yam tuber in Zakibia Market in Benue State is going for 13,200 naira there. Now, from food commodities, we move to the stock markets. Nigeria Exchange maintained positive trading trend for the third consecutive day on Friday as late stock rally pushed market up by 1.56%. Of course, the volume of trade also moved up there by 332.362 million shares, value at 7.88 billion naira in a days of 8,238 did exchange has among investors. Of course, look at some of the market, the stock that actually drive today's business. We see the like of FBN, First Bank of Nigeria Holding, doing 49.816 million shares, UBA 36.494, I beg your pardon, million shares, and of course Unity Bank also 29.763 million volume of shares. It did traded as well. Now, looking at the gaining equities, Bar Foods topped the gainers table there with 10%. PZ second there with 10% as well. And of course, Geregu Power Plant also not doing so badly there, 9.90% it gained on the day. Of course, we look at some of the losing equities. Flour Mill down by 10%. Livestock Feeds also down 10%. And of course, Maya down by 9.97%. Consider the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Friday, the last trading day of the week. Let's look at the stock market in Africa and the rest of the world. Finally, in business, oil price slipped on Friday as a forecast of slowing demand by the International Energy Agency offset support from geopolitical tensions and a hope that the U.S. Federal Reserve might cut interest rates sooner than expected. At the London market, the Brent crude sells for $82 per barrel. For the oil basket, price drops to $81 per barrel. That's business. I am Yusuf Akugu.
Thanks to Yusuf for business. And moving to other matters, across the shores of Nigeria, Senegal's president says the delayed election to choose his successor will be held as soon as possible after the top court ruled that his attempt to delay it was unconstitutional. President Macky Sall has served 2 terms in office. On Thursday, the Constitutional Council annulled President Sall's decree moving the vote to December. It also voided the contentious bill passed by Parliament, which had backed the president's decree. The move will go some way to restoring Senegal's reputation as a bastion of democracy in West Africa. Ever since he announced he wanted to delay the elections 2 weeks ago, just hours before campaigns were meant to kick off, President Sall has been under immense pressure to reverse his decision. Now that pressure appears to have yielded results, with a statement from the presidency saying Sall will comply with the court ruling and will also hold talks with all relevant stakeholders without delay in order to hold elections as soon as possible. The original date was 25th February, so there is not enough time to hold it then. A new date for the elections has not yet been given, but in its ruling, the Constitutional Council said the president could not stay in power beyond the end of his term on 2nd April. The West African body, ECOWAS, France, and the European Union all urged Sall to comply with the decision. Let's now join Emmanuel Fashimi, who is standing by with sports update.
The Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) has released the official match schedule for the 2024 Youth League Final Playoffs, which will hold from 24th February to 2nd March 2024 in Benin City, Edo State. Rivers United and Remo Stars under-17 teams will kickstart the league finals on 25th February at the Samuel Ogbomudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State by 2 p.m. 2 matches will be decided on each day of the competition. Meanwhile, the chairman, NPFL Youth League Planning Committee, in an interview, described the proceedings so far as challenging, thrilling, and ultimately fulfilling. The Youth League has taken the front row seat at creating an enabling environment to help groom younger generations to become those who will play first-team football in the foreseeable future. He further stated that successes recorded in regional playoffs, which happened across 5 centers nationwide, was a pointer the MPFA board, led by Benga Elegbeleye, are on right track, as the goal from beginning was direct, intentional, and execution so far has been laudable. The playoffs final is to be hosted at the Samuel Ogbumdia Stadium, Benin City, with Remo Stars, Enugu Rangers, Rivers United, Plateau United, and Katsina United, the teams looking to be crowned inaugural champions. Tiger Woods made his comeback to the PGA Tour at the Genesis Invitational in California, shooting a 72 one-stroke over par. After pulling out of the Masters in the third round in April, Woods was participating in his first round of an official PGA Tour event since undergoing ankle surgery. With the top 50 and those within 10 shots making the halfway cut, the 15-time major winner is tied for 49th place. Rory McIlroy is 10 shots behind leader Patrick Cantlay, another American who shot his record of 82 top victories. Following his leg injury in an automobile accident in 2021, his schedule has been more restricted. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashini.
And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and join our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs, and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Have a good night.